Hello and welcome to the Skating Lesson Judges, the 1980 Winter Olympic Games Ladies Short Program Competition.
Oh my gosh, easy for you to say, Dave.
I was like, wait, what am I saying?
It's so many words.
I am Dave Lees. We usually do these judging videos on Patreon, and you are?
I'm Jonathan Byer, and these are my favorite things to do, to go back and visit these competitions. We've gone back and judged several that are very close to my heart, where I had strong opinions at the time, but it's fun to do these events, like we also did 87 Worlds and stuff, where I didn't really have any predetermined ideas about how the judging went. So to watch the 1980 short program was really fun, to just revisit a whole era of skating and really see some cool stuff that laid the groundwork for later.
So I had never seen this, and it was one of those, so I guess it's early. I don't know when people really got VCRs. Some of the people here can explain this. By the way, if you are new here, stop what you're doing. Please subscribe below. And
oh yeah, you could do it throughout the video, right? You can subscribe at any point. So feel free to do it now.
Yes, we usually do these videos on Patreon, but we get a lot of messages asking about Patreon. And then people were saying, oh, I didn't know Patreon was better. You guys are sassier. So we are going to try to make it YouTube friendly for the mass audience in case any.
Which is really the big difference, if we're being honest.
Well,
yeah.
And we go a little more deep dive, but
we're trying.
Yes. But there are things we may comment on, and they are from an old time and place that we may make jokes about. So if we do, okay, so we need to teach people, when we have Doug Haw on, he is of a certain era, right? When you invite someone on your show, I know that it's like a new thing that Anderson Cooper does, but typically when you invite someone on your show and you don't agree with them, you go, that's so interesting. Moving on, change of topic of conversation, like one did with Doug Haw.
Or quite frankly, Dave, we try to just get some further clarification. To really, because these things come from this era of skating, and you see the exact terms and evaluative processes put into play here.
We're going to act very shocked when we discuss this, and oh my goodness. So you have to give it context to these sports. And by the way, nothing has really changed. They're just less open about it in the pop. They
know they're not supposed to say it for the most part now.
Unless it's like other countries where they talk about, there's like a magic number of kilos in Russia all the time. Wait, it's a
2.2 is
an article the other day. Because they talk about Linda Fratianne's weight like specifically here.
Yeah, they, like boxers, they announce everyone's height and weight.
But the Russian media did it with Tuktamisheva. By the way, and her whole thing was, that's when she was building a brand, and she was trying to also get a lot of likes and followers on Instagram, and she had that.
Which she should, good for her, and she did.
Good for her, it worked, okay? And then she's since toned that down. They're always still talking about that very average exhibition she did where she like took her jacket off and was wearing a bra. They still ask her about it in every interview. So I guess that did the trick.
Cool.
Oh, she's sitting on her couch with her leg up, trying to look seductive with her skate guards on.
What is it you're looking at right now?
I'm looking at FS Gossips, and there is a article. It says that you need to weigh less than 35 kilograms to do quad jumps. So just know that things haven't changed, okay? And
yeah, or remember, it was so alarming when Gracie was talking about that to Christina. I think that was at Skate America, and it was so alarming for journalists to hear, but
they talk about it.
They talk about it. That's what these athletes are going through, unfortunately. So
all right. So
I would like to first congratulate you, Dave Lees, on picking an excellent thumbnail for this video. Do you know what the thumbnail is? If I recall correctly, it's a close-up of Mary Scott-Vold in the most 80s of 80s glasses. And just as an homage, I have 1980 Issei Mizrahi.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
Yeah. A little bit of Issei here for you. We're going to pull them out.
In the 80s, maybe a later 80s, I could see driving like a BMW convertible and like one of those old kind of.
It's just a little Issei here for you. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah.
So, of a time and place. So Barbara Rolls also has fabulous glasses here when we get into.
Not to mention the Happy Meals Grimace coat she's wearing. Good Lord, that purple color was.
I am not dispersing the videos here, so I'm linking the full broadcast, which you should obviously watch. And
it's a quick watch.
It's a quick watch. You should watch it because I don't want the IOC to go to town on some of the Olympic videos. You never know what they're going to block or do. And then people will ask you, what about that video you did about the spins? You're like, yeah, man. Oh, okay, people. You know, it's just,
we're moving on. We're moving on. Yeah.
We're not playing around. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, what we're saying is if an old queen sits on the couch and uses any of these old terms, we don't have a cable show where we just, politicians are thirsting for views. So, you know, we don't yell at the guest when they come on. That's not what happens, you know. You're
hearing them out, so they're voicing their opinion and it does not reflect your own.
Did they use the word Oriental during the...
they did. In Emi Watanabe's fluff piece, they did. Mm-hmm.
And they used the stereotypical Oriental music, as they would call it?
Yes, 100%. It was out... When you see these things retroactively, you're like, wow, it really was that bad. I see, I understand. 100%, that was inappropriate. Yeah, and even when he talks about Lisa Marie Allen, only about 800 times being like, pretty girl, what a pretty girl. And of course we know, like, he meant it as
very
much as I would, yeah.
Oh, no, where he's mesmerized. She wears her hair in a bun. It's very attractive.
I guess because it gets in her face during the elements. Yeah, I guess so, Dick. Like, what? Like, come on, what are you, that equestrian idiot from 4 continents? Like, get it together. You have insightful things to say. Stick to it.
He was so excited about these Olympics and nervous, okay?
Yeah, and there is something really endearing about his excitement to, like, share with us. Like, he's an excited friend that's like, we're going to look at this spin. Okay, watch the spin. And he was doing it also in '84 when you posted the men's event, when he's walking us through the figures. And I was like, this is a man who, even if he was serving his own self-interest and stuff like that, he was teaching an entire generation of people how to appreciate skating, which I think is so invaluable and they don't do enough of today.
It reminds me of an experience that you may have had. So,
tell me.
When the pageant gays, Greg and Galen, brought you to judge your first pageant, was it?
I remember like it was yesterday, Dave.
Was it with this kind of enthusiasm and excitement? Remember there was like a binder that was like color coded, and it was
the Mitt Romney binders of women that I received. Yes, there was. But here's the thing.
Because this felt like a pageant, a great athletic pageant. Okay?
It was, and it's interesting because sometimes skating is more pageant-like than others, and this is a really turn of events in skating where we're getting a little
more pageant. It needs to come back.
It's getting a bit more glam now, and to credit Linda and Frank, when he knew in Innsbruck, remember Dorothy won wearing that red felt tablecloth, whatever that was, or pink, whatever it was. Linda came out in a Bob Mackie, like sparkles, pizzazzy, flamey thing, and it started changing the entire thing.
Don't get ahead, Jonathan. We can't get ahead. We have to save our excitement. I had the whole thing about Linda's look. I was paying attention. The new nose.
She's shoving pageant world into the front of this, and I'm here for it.
Her nose job, one of the greatest plastic surgeries of all time. Okay,
and I think she breathes better because of the deviated septum. Bonus, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Frank knew what he was doing. Okay, and
we're gonna get into it.
Like Sochi, where I have been very consistent, the Eastern Bloc they are smart MFers, right?
They know what they're doing. They're quite crafty here.
I've been doing these live viewings on YouTube of the old events, and they're a lot of fun. But you know, we would like you in the comments, because a lot of people that comment the most don't know the most about it.
Oh, it's like a Zoom meeting. We often find that people talking the most know the least.
I try to educate, and you know, there was some new person that'll be like, the figures were all corrupt, and you're like, well,
we've all clearly seen the same fluff piece that feels that way. Yes, I agree.
Can you evaluate who had a better paragraph loop? Because Katarinavic didn't look very good, but we don't know that this person wasn't good at figures because we can't see all of them, you know?
Right.
And I am sure that we would love if we had if someone has like 8 hours of figures, we could invite Doug Haw over with a glass of wine, and he will
And a monocle to inspect each one. Yeah.
I would love it. He would be getting, oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? When someone is passionate about it that way, suddenly, like when Dick was describing like Scott's figures, suddenly you become interested because as an informed viewer, you can tune in. Same thing, I've always said that about the original dance. When they changed it to the short dance and you would like teach us like, look for this turn, look for how he's doing this element in this step, because this is where it's a really important point. Suddenly you're engaged in a totally different way and you're like, yeah, I'm with this. I love watching this because now I know how to quantify it.
And Dick wanted that time, okay? He wanted to teach us about skating.
More than he wanted an 8th and 9th layer of clothing that he was wearing in this. He had the turtleneck and then a button up and then a blazer and then...
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think Dick had to like battle the bulge? I get the vibe that he was a former fatty who had to keep it svelte for skating.
Oh, he kept it svelte for like a good 2 Olympic cycles. And I think the rest of his time was a real struggle.
But he would keep it like svelte for broadcasting. You can tell. Through the 80s, Dick was trying to really hold it together. You know?
Yeah, but he was also masking. I mean, yes, that was like, you know, they ended up coming up with Spanx for men, which were just like tight t-shirts.
Like
this was his version of that. He was cutting it with the turtleneck. He's doing the layers. He's trying to draw the eye down. I mean, I was with him. I saw him.
Tight ab muscles as a skater. When you don't have those, you feel it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like that feeling when you are bloated and you need to, you know,
yeah,
find a restroom immediately, you know.
It's been a long time since that first triple loop, Dick.
Jonathan, rude, okay?
Not an icon. The man like invented skating, I feel.
First of all skaters. It's why Peggy was still at her competition weight for 50 more years, okay?
Mm-hmm. If not a critical thinker.
Excuse me, during 1984, she was very critical, okay?
She was.
And
yes,
she was thinking. All right.
Yeah.
So, let's start with one of my favorite skaters.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, we're going to cover what the broadcast was, right?
What was her name? I don't even know. We didn't get a name.
But we're going to talk about this for a second, because often we see...
He was setting a base mark, Jonathan. He wanted us to know what an awful skater looked like.
But I also have to say, it was a very human interest story, because at the time, I think, you know, Nixon had only just been. So I think it's like an interesting look for them into that world. And he was smart in predicting. He was like, what happened in gymnastics could very well happen in skating. Now it took longer, but we didn't have to wait much more than a decade to get a 2-time Olympic bronze medalist and world champion.
So, and I've checked this, I only have the men's free of 1980. I don't have the short. And I was tearing my room apart and then I checked the thing and I actually only have the men's free. I don't have the men's short. So if someone does and they want to be a deer, I bet that Flow Skate has it. He doesn't put up full broadcast though. Maybe he'll start. It's the new thing. I started doing it.
It's interesting. I was perplexed.
Wait, Jonathan, wait. Remember when Triple Axel 1996 thought that because I had videos, I was automatically stealing his? And then I noticed that I started putting up full broadcasts, then all of a sudden he was copying, and then I made playlists, and all of a sudden he was copying. It was like everything else that's happened in social media. I just wanted to say that. Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, it was intriguing, your concept of putting up the complete events versus just, oftentimes I'm curating, I'm like, oh, I want to see this program from this event by that skater. And
I offer both.
But I have to say, it's really fascinating. It's really fun to watch the event all the way through because it changes so much about how you view a competitor, I find. So I like that you're doing it this way.
I think it was interesting here. The referee was Ben Wright. That is the skating historian who recently passed away. He was also known as one of the Harvard boys. Those were the men that were keeping the gays down in skating.
Yeah.
Alleged.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's dead, so we can say whatever we want. They were keeping the gays.
Yeah.
Chuck Foster, USFS president. He was the judge here, the US judge. He was one of our first guests on the show.
He threw out some funky numbers.
He was a bit curmudgeon-y when he was on the show, but he also was like telling us that, yo, you should ask the Federation for a comment on this and that. He was interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Also a rumored Harvard boy. They were all of a certain elite, Maribel Vincent, like rude. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, some people may remember them fondly. I don't think that the gays of skating made this much, but it's okay. Everyone has their people. And you know who my people are? Evie and Mary Scotfold, okay? Can I just tell you?
Our first glasses appearance in the Kiss and Cry, a really wonderful moment for Mary Scaffold.
Same trench coats.
Mm-hmm.
They both looked like they had a nice glass of Merlot before the event. They were very relaxed.
I think they split a bottle and a pack on the way over, you know.
Okay.
But it's so youthful. To see them so youthful was really interesting.
And they would have been newlyweds at this point because Mary was once married to Ron Ludington before she was married to Emi.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and her twin sister Anne was originally married to Mark Militano of the Militanos, who was a pair skater, and Mark Militano wrote the music for Nancy, all those short programs, spectacular that she would skate to at the Olympics, you know, those wonderful pieces of music that we know and love.
Yeah, that has come synonymous with Scaffold choreography.
If any of you have the recording where Nancy Kerrigan sings and they have her short program music, please send it to me as a birthday present. Alyssa Tisney once found the Linda Fratianne record and I own it. I haven't given it to Doug Haw yet. I feel like Doug Haw would still have a record player and want to do the Linda Fratianne calisthenics.
Yeah.
But I don't have a record player to play it on, but I know one day I will, right? And I will want to work out
for the sole purpose of doing that. Yeah.
I don't know how she knew that I would like it. I don't know how she knew.
Funny that. So meanwhile, what does one do if you kind of have a bobblehead? And I feel like, I don't mean it in a rude way, but I think you're really starting at a disadvantage aesthetically as a skater this way.
How dare you? We are on YouTube. This is not Patreon. You know.
I'm sorry.
But it's any moment, Jonathan.
I'm sorry.
I like Sandy Lenz. I think she is fabulous. She's a quintessential Scaffold skater with those edges and those long, sexy edges that she was giving us in this short program, even though they were very short because they were 7 elements and they were 2 minutes and you had to fly through them like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So
let's go through this.
I have figures. No, she was a surprise on the Olympic team. She beat out New Jersey's own Elaine Zayak.
But they knew enough to send Elaine to Worlds.
Yeah, so she was getting that kind of like...
And they could have sent her to the Olympics.
Treatment. Why are they always getting on the Scaffolds? Ben Wright and Chuck Foster, why are you not fans of the Scaffolds? You're not treating for them in the U.S. politics, you know? I don't know. We'll have to ask about what's going on with that. Why didn't the Scaffolds...
Well, maybe they were just like trying to push Elaine.
You know, I wonder, but you never know. Did Evie get a little too mouthy at the bar or something? I'm sure he...
Evie? I think it was Mary in the powder room.
Well, I have to say, Mary's fabulous. Mary, this short program was fabulous, okay?
And I love judging by the opening moves. And this is extended as hell. Total extension, right? Wonderful.
Okay, so she had no international real reputation, but that double axel double loop was very good. I thought on the GOE, I was like +2. I gave it like a little nod.
Are you serious?
Compared to some of the combinations.
Well, we're going to talk about it. But listen, Mr. Axel King, I want to get your take because as some people were landing these axles, the fact that so this is weird to me that they required the double loop. Yeah. Such an odd quantifier, like not a combination. Like I think some of these girls would have been totally in different stead if they were putting on double toes. But some of these entrances that they were taking for the double loops were wackadoodle, and hers was like so weird to me the way she took off into it, and it was such like a klutzy open arm position. It was really displeasing to me aesthetically.
To steal the words of Jonathan Byer, riddle me this. Have you ever seen Paul Wiley do a triple axel? Maybe it was not Evie's jump. I'm just saying, you know?
Well, but see, what's interesting, yeah, you're right. You're right. But even more than the landing on the axle was the way she was willing that double toe, or the double loop rather.
I was like, the double loop. Yeah. But I thought overall it was one of the better combinations here. Now, we have to talk about setting base mark. Because the double loop is the required jump, most of the ladies that we see, the best ladies will do a triple jump before the double.
I think we only see 4 attempts, right?
Very important.
Yeah.
Those were the good ladies, right?
Yeah.
I would say that a double axel is middle of the road. You are doing what is
respectable.
Respectable, but you're not starting from a 6-0 here. We're not judging you. You know, I was kind of looking at someone who did a double axel from starting at a max at about a 5-7 for me when I was looking at that kind of combination. But I thought that her double axel, double loop was one of the better combinations. Now, her flying sit was quite good because she did way more revolutions in the sit spin than was required, and she had a nice back position, and Dick was all about the sit spin back. Now, if you have ever seen any of the Gus Lucy videos, who is Dick Button's coach, he is all about the sit spin. It is his signature.
From a physics standpoint as well, right? Like they were so on optimizing speed and position, and in addition to being just aesthetically beautiful, I would think it just makes it go faster.
I know, and I don't want to offend Flow Skate here, but he's going to disagree. Flow Skate has an odd love of the Germans that I don't know if it's an ironic love or a genuine one.
I don't know how it couldn't be. It could not be an ironic love.
Watching the '84 Olympics in the chat, he's one of the more fun ones, and he was, you know, he would be like, "Well, Dick and Peggy are awful," and you'd be like, "Where's the lie?" And he'd be like, "Well, I know." So I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Got it. Yeah. So now, as we have discussed on Patreon before, when I'm judging this kind of spin, I am such a sucker for the death drop entrance. And the bigger and
the layout entrance, as Dick was calling it.
Yeah, exactly. Wild open axle approach. Hers was banger. Like she gets up there. So snaps to you, Sandy. Like that entrance to the sits, it was just amazing. So big points for me. I think
that she lives in Georgia now. She needs to come on the skating lesson. You know, not enough people knew about Sandy Lenz. We got Flow Skate posted her video, and she has the most Scott Vold free skate ever. When we get like, she changes tempo for no reason and has all those like dance move choreography.
But she's kind of doing some bigger skating at a time when that's not necessarily the norm. So you see her so futuristic.
By her massive skating because she
just taking up all the space. It's great. Yeah.
So her second double axel was good, but I did feel like she fought in the air. I don't know if you could see it, but it almost looked like she was losing her head.
It looked like a Tara one where she just like hurdled herself so hard that it almost like just pulled her out of the rotation.
She's more height, but like if you look at her air position, she pulls it back in the air. So her change camel was good. I did review the second. So you have to get 6 on the first and 6 on the second. So, and she did make it, but it was just required.
But with a lovely leg position. The free leg was really nice. Yeah.
So riddle me this. Why didn't the East Germans get the memo about leg extension? Do they not have ballet in Germany? You know, I've never heard of a German ballet. I've heard of the ballet in London. I've heard of the French ballet. I have heard of the Russian ballet. You never hear about.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to even
Berlin
the German
ballet.
opera.
You know?
Yeah, it's not. They have tremendous dance companies now, but like back, they also didn't have like a lineage of ballet composers necessarily coming out of Germany.
Why do the East Germans look like that? All the bent legs. They do the scratch spin with the butt out. That Frau Mueller technique. I mean, I don't.
But this was an era when also like a lot of their teams were also competing in roller skating. West Germany in particular had a big roller skating presence at the time, and they often did both. And in the summer, they would compete in worlds in roller skating. And so I think we see more of that kind of.
The difference between roller skating and ice skating is that obviously the 4 wheels, they're very heavy, but the difference is that ice skating has an up and down motion with your knee the whole time when you're doing turns. And roller skating doesn't have that because you don't have the edges to maneuver and manipulate.
And to me, that explains Jutta Miller.
Yeah, because all of the East Germans tend to look a little clunkier when they're skating. It's just.
But it was really interesting when I was singing in Germany last time. This guy was like, "Do you do a skating show?" And I was like, what? Yes, I do. I was saying Bohem there. And he was like, oh, come over to my house for dinner. I used to be a competitive ice dancer for West Germany. And it was in the 70s. But he was talking about how they all...
Daddy.
No. It was, maybe he thought so, but I was not interested. It was this kind of situation where they would just do both. And it explained entirely. And he kept talking to me. He idolized that German pairs girl from the 60s, maybe early 70s, right on she was maybe a silver medalist and then the gold medalist. I don't, she's like an icon over there.
No German was winning gold in the pairs. That was the Arena era.
No, that's what I said. So I think it's right before Arena. She must have been silver to Arena, maybe her first time or something like that. But there was like, oh my God, hearing stories about her was amazing.
Like when they really don't know stuff, or they talk to you about gymnastics and like they get the countries wrong, and you're just like, oh yeah, like,
oh yeah, I see, yeah.
Beat me by one judge at the adult nationals. Not that we're bitter and he can't even pass the silver moves. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Just saying, hypothetically.
He was like talking to me, he's like, yes. And he did a whole program in the artistic portion of the adult nationals, the artistic portion. You know how I feel about that, or the comedy. And he did it.
I got you.
With a ribbon. And he told me, those Romanians are really great at the rhythmic gymnastics. And I was like,
that's not true.
That's
not a thing.
I just nodded. Again, like when Doug Hall was on and people wanted us to get mad. I just went.
Yeah.
And that's my dad teaching me
how to deal with your mom.
My mom would be like, there are no Romanian rhythmic gymnasts. What are you talking about? Okay.
And you are completely their child, both of them.
And at that moment, I would just go, like, oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like we leave the room and be like, what was he talking about? And then you just move away. Okay.
Same thing happens in opera all the time. They're so eager to show you that they know something, like I'm supposed to take it a certain way. And they'll be like, oh, I go to the opera all the time. I love Phantom of the opera. You're like, great, super, totally the same thing. Great.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Now,
okay.
Speed in the open skating, the straight line steps.
Love it. She is committed, Dave.
Committed with this weird arm jazz hand kind of choreography going on.
Mary, classic Mary.
Mary, freaking incredible, okay?
But you know what? She sold it like it was Sandra.
She did, okay?
She pretended it was Sandra or Lori content, and she just sold it.
I don't think she knew about Sandra Bessick yet. Like
Sandra Bessick didn't know about Sandra Bessick yet.
She was touring.
Yeah, because she had just done 76, the Olympics.
She had just done that. She had just done that Tyler Cranston TV special. No, that was
Strawberries. Yeah, no, she did right around this time. Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Okay, but now here we go to the double flip. Double flip, her air position was super weird in that too.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Not as bad as some of the other skaters that we are going to discuss, like Ms. Lurz, okay?
Don't get me started on that. Now, also interesting here, they left the hockey like protective thing up. Really distracting. Really
Lake Placid, you celebrate that you have the Olympics more than anyone. And that was not classy, okay?
No,
Lake Placid, now it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Actually, as a skater, it's like the Mecca. And I'm kind of jealous because all the ISI people go up to Lake Placid like 5 times a year, okay? And I have great memories of Lake Placid. I went one time. Now, because you can't take like an easy train to get there. You can't.
Oh, you went there when Ashley Wagner ripped up an invite to the Olympics. Weren't you there then?
I didn't
go. Oh, okay.
I didn't go because it was over Thanksgiving, and I'm in Jersey, and we go shopping, and like
it's a thing.
Like
yeah.
Time,
okay.
Got
it.
And it was like, but it was like I really had FOMO. I had FOMO hard, especially when she faked that injury. Anyway, and was walking around in high heels that weekend by people that were seeing her and texting about it. Anyway, but like other competitors. Yeah, and then that article made me sound so scandalous. And then it was like, I was.
And yet, she was denied entry to the.
So every time that I said something in that article where like the writer tried to paint me as a little bit shady, I'll be like, oh, and just like text her from time to time. Be like,
she kept calling me in Germany during that time.
Oh, she did.
And I was like giving her a quote. She's like, what do you think about it? Dave said he didn't like her program. And I was like, well, he didn't.
They were
what?
fishing. They were fishing.
Yeah, totally.
It was fine. Okay. So anyway, Lake Placid. When I was in Lake Placid, 2009 Skate America, right? I'm there with Elkin and my friend Steve, and that's when NBC Nightly News did the piece on me, where I'm like on my like childhood bedroom, like bed, and they're filming and I'm typing. I'm a very young gay. And we were there, and it's when Andre Lutai got blackout drunk, stole a car, and then crashed it. And then like, remember the Russian Federation wouldn't bail him out? And then he wound up like doing gay porn in the US. You know, it was a time.
All in a day.
All in a day, yes. Okay.
What a time to be alive. Yeah.
It's a great restaurant known as the Dancing Bears. And they, of course, you know, you could skate with the Protopopov, who are probably, you know, I think Oleg is probably still skating, although I heard someone's taking care of him during quarantine. I worry about the old skaters, Jonathan.
We saw them live at the last time together, right? I saw them last in 2015 skate.
Yes.
In Boston. Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, they're still skating.
And Dick would say, like spun cotton candy. Like he would say the weirdest things and to compliment their skating.
Okay. So the combo
I
thought was very good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to set our base mark here. And I also feel like I judged this as if I want to be aggressive. I will defend the judges' meeting, but I don't want to get thrown out. Okay.
Right. Understood. Try me.
I give her a 5-5 for, I thought.
Sorry. I was just, let me just see what I have here. Okay, fine.
Excuse me. The judges went 5-2 to 5-5. And I put my mark down before the marks came up. So
yeah, I was doing the same. And it was actually really nice that I felt sometimes in tune. And there's only one where I'm like totally out to lunch. I gave her a 5-3.
Oh, so you're not a nice person. Okay.
You know why? And let me tell you why I'm not a nice person. For me, it was the consistent air position was distracting. I loved her spins. I liked her skating. I'm a fan, but the air position was too distracting.
It was 1980.
Yeah. Well, it was 1980 for the other women too.
Yeah, and we'll see.
tease.
Emi Watanabe with the tucked legs on the huge.
Well, we'll discuss. Okay, so I gave her a 5-3 and then a 5-4 for artistic merit. Is that what they're calling it here?
Oh, rude. 5-5, 5-6. Okay. And I defend Sandy Lenz. You are freaking fabulous. You're a big open skater. I would have given you a good contract to the Ice Capades, like that, or maybe one of those Linda con. I heard that even though the Ice Capades seemed more fabulous, Linda, I heard that she was rolling in the money on Disney. That man.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Yeah, she was. I've seen those coats.
Those furs. Apparently, Linda was rolling in the money. So
yeah, deservedly so.
With all those gays and all of her friends, like Donald and Mickey.
The whole gang.
Okay. So Jonathan was rude and I was nice. Now, I understand the ordinals, but I don't really understand how those points work with the decimals. No one ever explained that, but
no.
Maybe Doug Hall will give us, he'll love this video. So he will, he'll just.
The golden era of skating.
He'll explain okay.
Here's how we love that. We love that.
He should just write in his marks. And you know what? Joe Inman should too, because he'll have a lot of opinions. Okay.
I have lots of phrasing comments coming up. Yeah.
Oh my God. I wrote. I'll save it.
Okay. Save it.
But we need a new term on the skating lesson.
Okay.
The JIO.
The Joe Inman
orgasm. Okay.
A Geo.
There is one skater who is a Geo here. Okay.
Yeah.
A JIO. They are so on the phrasing. They are hitting every head, arm, and leg extension on the beat of a very classical piece of music. And
spoiler alert, she's not from Dortmund, Germany. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Okay. Right. Okay. So the second skater.
Denise Biellmann.
Okay. Love Denise.
Love her. And we have often, as I recall this Olympics, where not to foreshadow, but as in American culture, I was trained to believe that Linda was robbed. And really, if we're just basing it on free skating, it was really Denise's event. That's going into this short program, that's what I remembered are the main consensuses.
And Denise will say that she was not as strong at figures.
Yeah.
Training. That was not her forte. So I imagine that Denise wasn't the worst at figures, but not the best at figures. I imagine Linda, Miss Perfectionist Linda, probably better at the figures.
But probably tight. Could have been a tight, but I remember her saying in our interview, she and Frank went up to Dagmar's patterns afterwards, and they were like, I don't get it.
I think, so they do mention in the very beginning of this broadcast that the placements of the figures were the same.
At the Worlds.
2 Worlds and this Olympics, which usually when people are better in the free skating and you look at the politics and people get better, and you know Frank and Linda are both very perfectionistic type A people. I imagine that all of the cheating wasn't just for Annett. The fact that Ms. Lurz medaled at major international competitions, and I imagine that Carlo was not only politicking for Robin Cousins, because remember, with a big thing in 1980 is that it's believed that there was kind of a quid pro quo for Robin winning over Jan Hoffman, that Annett got it over Linda. And remember, Carlo did offer Linda the gold, but they were so loyal to Frank. But most skaters, I think, would have gone to Carlo. See, Carlo and Frank should have just coached together. You know, they should have just...
Yeah, because Frank was already doing a really good job here.
He was doing a very good job, but he needed maybe a little bit of a better choreographer. So Robin Cousins could have helped in that area.
Compared to whom? I mean...
Have you seen John Curry, Dorothy Hamill?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, the programs of the competitors here.
I mean, Bob Hall, was he working with Linda? I mean, they really needed that kind of expertise, okay? It's not just about winning, Jonathan. It's about the TV specials and the big picture, okay?
Yeah.
And when Linda was a pro skater, you know, we love her, but she didn't have that same je ne sais quoi of the Fosse girls. You know, Carlo, you know, Jill Trenery and Karen weren't the best jumpers, but they did have the overall package. Mm-hmm. I will say that Krista and Carlo. So if we could put the dream team together with Carlo's politicking, Frank's jump mastery, Krista being fabulous, dealing with the female emotions, and Carlo's mastery of the figures, we could have had the dream team, okay?
Yeah.
And I think that Linda's mother miscalculated. Also, allegedly, Linda's mother and Frank have a plot, like they're gonna be like together forever.
Yeah, you don't mean like a maniacal plot. You mean like a grave plot?
Yes, that's like the big rumor in skating.
Oh.
And you know what? They would travel together. They were fabulous friends, okay?
Great. But I do have to, well, we'll get into it with Linda.
She's like his daughter, okay?
But it's interesting because I think it's also important for Frank to have coached Linda here on his own, even though one never would want to think that their experience as an athlete was almost like a testing ground for their coach. I think it was an important thing for Frank
Linda
to experience.
Is a total Geo, okay? She is a total Geo.
No kidding. No kidding.
Okay? Like,
we'll get into it.
All right. Denise Biellmann. So she's very athletic.
I'm just going to say, I thought she was going to be better at her spins here.
So she does travel during the combos.
And she gets some nice positions, like in the beginning, like the energy in her limbs, but getting into each position change is very awkward.
Some of the shoulder action on the sit spin, not her best. She does have kind of that East German 2-foot skate pump tacky choreography that they were doing in the 70s going on here.
Roller. Well, she's from that region.
You know, it has that thing. So she's very virtuistically great in the athleticism, you know, and she can kind of balance technique with her overall fitness, which is so much better that enables her to get some of these jumps off. Again, the camel is a good camel. It has a lot of speed. It doesn't have the same style of a
but it has power.
It has power. And she does do a jump over on the camel, which is more difficult. And it's fast, okay? And she's got a big double flip. And she's got
a huge deep knee. I mean, that was, you realize you're watching like a great athlete at work. And I said this when we were doing 87 Worlds. It's like when Debbie Thomas comes out, suddenly we're in a different sport. Suddenly I'm transformed and I am in a huge athletic event and it's very exciting. And Denise gives me those same kind of feelings.
Well, Dick, Frank, and I thought that we were going to a pageant, not a sport, okay?
Bingo.
All right.
And Denise dressed accordingly for how she was presenting. She wasn't doing glitz, she was doing athletic. Yeah.
That was clear. Okay.
And that fast, so fast, I bet, going into that triple loop. I have to believe or triple toe rather. I believe she had to have been the fastest competitor of the night.
Yeah. Her flying sit was good. She could have had better positioning on it. I did take a 10th on her flying sit. I can't read my writing because of the back.
It is really curved, and Dick points it out, but I was intrigued. It almost looks like a variation because the shoulders are rolled and the back is curved. So it would give that beauty.
Yeah. Never heard of. Okay, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
That was not the killer.
And you know what? I'm all for modern. I love it. We get some really fun 70s, like early 80s electronica music going on here, but this was just a series of like race car sounds at some point that I was like, okay, enough.
Now the straight line footwork, it did have some more steps in there, but it was a rather slow, I have to say.
And insincere. This was so like, I'm doing this part for this sake only. You know what I mean? If you're going to do like edgy race car music, at least like be cool with it or something, but it just, it was a miss.
So her back camel, it did travel at the end of her combo spin. The double axel was very good.
Oh, excellent. With the arm on the hip. It's kind of fun.
She does, you know what? And she does the Biellmann at the end, and it's very exciting. It feels like the Scott Hamilton backflip. It's coming. And they say she's a very dramatic free skater.
I would say dynamic. She's more dynamic than dramatic.
Yes, dynamic. She's speed. It was not brilliant, but it was very good, I thought. So
yeah.
Required elements. I went 5.7.
I went 5.7 also. I appreciate her athletic ability. Again, it's so funny, and maybe this is my own preconceived notion that I wanted the spins to be better than they were because obviously it's Denise Biellmann, and then you're like,
I gave her, and the judges went 5.6 to 5.8. Yugoslavia gave her the only 5.8. In presentation, I also gave her a 5.7.
I did also.
She had pizzazz. She had speed. She had attack.
She had energy and excitement, if not finesse and beauty, maybe.
Yeah. So I wanted to reward that. So it was.
Yeah, I was entertained.
Definitely ahead of Sandy Lenz. So moving along to our.
Okay, let's talk it out. Lisa Marie Presley, Lisa Marie Allen, yeah.
She's wearing a sea green colored dress. I don't know.
Sea foam green, I would even
green, say. Slight touches of emerald. You know, it's only a color that I would see in grandma's house from like back in the day, right?
Yeah.
She's very pretty and very tall.
I'm just going to say she looks like a smoker here. And it's not what I want to see in a skater. And it's interesting because I think Dick mentions no less than 3,000 times that she's attractive. And it's just like heavy-handed and gross and out of place. And I just don't like it.
He wasn't Me Tooing her.
No, he certainly wasn't.
Although I think Dick was married to Slavka here. So maybe we could...
Yeah, well, like you posted in 84 when Brian Orster talking about his girlfriend. You know, I mean, bless
them. They were wearing matching shorts, okay?
Did they say Harvard? Yeah.
His girlfriend, bigger than him. I'm just saying. He was very slender, okay?
Yeah, it was insane to see that. Okay.
Linda is what we refer to as a slow-moving glacier. Beautiful. Like Alaska. Enjoy it while you can. Okay, but it's just well, okay. The triple sow double loop. The triple sow was rotated.
Well, okay, wait, before we even get to the triple sow, I'm gonna, so also with the men that you were posting from 84 and stuff as I was going down these things, or Skate America 93, I've been watching all the things you've been posting. And I've been seeing so many of the greatest skaters start with stillness. Yeah. And it's kind of amazing to see that sound wash over them while they focus and begin.
Fratianne.
It's wonderful. Where it doesn't work is when your music is enormous into the Firebird. That's not collecting yourself music. It starts so big and she's collecting herself in a Zen moment. And already
we're talking about Lisa Marie. She was not skating to Firebird. That was Miss Linda. Right?
Oh, sorry. She's skating to the Russian music though. She's skating to, what is she skating to? One of the big concertos. The music is, but I do believe this for Lisa Marie, I mean, the music is too big for her to just take that as a moment. It's too grand when it starts.
Well, you know,
I'm disconnected.
Linda never liked that Lisa Marie Allen. So, and
if we were on Patreon, we'd continue our stories here.
Yeah. So we're going to judge the free skate on Patreon.
Okay, so put a pin in this moment and we'll go into further detail later.
Talk about the night that Linda Fratianne.
Yep. It was a cold night in Minneapolis.
Yes, let's go into it. We'll put up pictures, the whole deal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That swingy ass combo though. Lisa Marie, hold on.
Very wild. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to judge Lisa Marie from a complete base value because she does do the hardest combination in the event, but it's shaky. So it's high risk, high reward. It kind of is.
Yeah.
Camel, change camel. When she does that camel with the arm out, Jonathan, it is beautiful. It is slow.
So yeah, I was going to say riddle me this because the positions are good and the speed is not. So it's hard to know which way to go with this.
But you know, she's very attractive. Okay.
You know, I've heard at this point, let's see, we're 30 seconds in. I think I've heard it about 3 times so far. Yeah.
Well, you know, she wears her hair in a bun. I imagine that's so her hair doesn't get in her face.
You know, that's probably a really good idea.
I was like, has he never seen someone with their hair in a bun before? Like, what?
No, he's just used to Dorothy chopping the damn thing off. And Linda, too. Linda's so beautiful now with that long hair.
Okay?
Yeah.
And against the Frau's daughter? I mean, come on. Dick. He just thought she was very attractive. Okay?
Yeah, he sure did. But what was attractive was that nice double axel.
Double axel was big. It was a little bit careful, but it was big. It was right in order. She was being conservative. You know, the double axel is a very treacherous move, as Dick will tell us.
That's the deadly. I love when he would describe some of these easier moves as deadly. Also, I am here for her entrance with that death drop kick. Holy cow. Wonderful. Best part of the program, I think.
And she has a good straight line step sequence into a good double flip. The thing, you know what upset me about this, that I thought was a missed opportunity to really have an extra bit of spark and pizzazz and
emoting beyond her wrist because everything was bent like this.
The mazurka after her double flip. It is very low for such a tall man.
Yeah.
Come on, Lisa Marie. It was a moment in your choreography for the old queens that we're going to watch this event 40 years.
Call you attractive.
And Lisa Marie, I agree. You were very attractive. Okay, I have to tell you.
And you know what? The final spin was very attractive. And what a cute little button at the end. That was a fun way to end it. Again, it was not the right way to start it. It just wasn't whimsical enough. But really, I'm sorry. She's being upstaged here by our friend in the Kiss and Cry who has glasses so big that it goes below the nose and above the eyebrow and in the Grimace or Barney purple coat. Like, I just can't.
And she's always been fabulous. And, you know, had Nicole Bobek stayed with her for longer than 2 weeks, maybe we would have gotten to know Barbara Rolls better.
But in those 2 weeks, we still got some good footage of Barbara back at the
remember, she was in the bunk beds with Carol Heiss and Laurence Owen in the Olympics, and she was the one that was really imitating Maribel in the Rise documentary, which we may link to on Patreon. Anyway, I just, you know, it's just...
She was a personality. All her interviews.
Probably a smoker, right?
If by probably you mean 100% definitely.
Yes.
She and Lisa Marie back in the locker room. And they're like, hey, Mary, your girl did well tonight. Good job with Sandy.
I believe that the fabulous Jessica Mills, sister of the gymnast Phoebe Mills and the speed skater Mills, and the father with like...
Not Heather.
One leg, not Heather.
Yeah.
That also worked with Barbara Rolls. So, and maybe that Mark Cockrell and some of the other people in some of these fabulous events.
Mm-hmm.
She has a presence with those glasses. Barbara Rolls, love you. Oh.
An underrated competitor also, right? Like she accomplished some really great things.
I gave her a 5.6 for
5.6 also.
Yes. And you know, I thought she was a very attractive skater. She painted a beautiful image on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
I gave her a 5.7, and I debated a 5.6, 5.6, but I wanted to make a statement here about that she had a point of view with her choreography, whereas some of these skaters that we're about to discuss, zero.
Yes,
like to
100%, 100%. I gave her a 5.6 because I'm basing it as I compare it to Denise. And I think I was overall more entertained by Denise because I think-
I had a 5.6 that I crossed out and went 5.7.
Okay, yeah, I often have like parentheses with arrows, ups and downs, but I
went 5.5, 5.7, so.
Yeah, strange because again, the technical point being our tiebreaker here, but.
Well,
all right, here she comes in Dirty Marigold. Here's Dagmar Lurz.
The U.S. doesn't know how to be as political with some of the, but he does make a statement, a cranky statement about one skater.
Oh yes, we see that.
Not the important one, because someone else is even worse, and he just lets it slide.
Well, because here comes Dagmar, and he really gives it to her.
Really gives it to her, but it's deserved, I have to say.
I agree.
I went back and rewatched, and Dick kind of catches it.
Yeah.
5.6, 5.7. So I have the order being Denise, Lisa Marie Allen, Sandy Lenz. Okay.
Yeah.
And Michael Shenley loves Sandy Lenz. I don't know if we've.
Okay.
So
good to know.
he always brings her up. Sandy Lenz. Remember Priscilla Hill was like in line to make
again. Priscilla, I would have broken my heart if I was following skating back then because I was always rooting for her, even when we went back and watched all these videos.
I know, but she was a little, sometimes maybe inconsistent in the.
Yeah, but she was the special one. She had something really special.
I wanna make sure one thing that I didn't make one mistake. I'm just checking the results of the 79. I wanted to say 87. I have dyslexia.
Because Linda was first, and they were saying Denise was second in the free skating.
It's Carrie Roux. Yeah, so Carrie Roux went to she's from El Segundo High School. John Nix, maybe? She went to the Icecapades. I don't think we have met Carrie. I don't think that we're Facebook friends or anything. I don't really know her. She was born in 1961. So she was the bronze contender, the third member the year before. So Sandy Lenz really was a surprise addition.
I might have given it to Elaine.
How dare you? Sandy Lenz, okay? Elaine was fabulous too, though. Elaine, I love you too.
She would have had a big moment at these Olympics, I think.
She would have had she would have been a Midori Ito, okay?
Yeah, and she could have helped her figures, Mark, I wonder.
If only her father didn't run over her foot with the lawnmower like my grandfather had.
And then still bitch about how she competed. I'm like, she has half a damn foot. Give the woman some credit.
Yes. All right. Here she comes, Ms. Dagmar.
Dagmar in this, I don't even know what color this is. It's like the Mac and Mabel of Torval and Dean, but not as fun.
I wrote dowdy hair and dress.
I wrote shoulder tension. She wearing them like earrings. It's terrible.
Okay, Natasha used to say that I did that. And then the first lesson I have with Victor Pachenko, he goes, Dave's shoulder so tense,
You're a real regular Dagmar.
So I've been going I was like, fine, it's fine to fix my shoulder tension. Now I'm in physical therapy 3 times a week. I'm fixing them, though. It's getting much better. So
see, winners make adjustments.
It's true. All right.
Yeah.
Victor hasn't yelled about my shoulders, but he'll be like, Blade doesn't like tension. I'm like, okay.
Okay, great. Then stop yelling. That's not making me more relaxed.
He's great. He's a national treasure.
That's when you need Sandra, like, hey, seems like the tension is coming through in the skating. And I'd be like, you're right. okay, I'll relax a little.
Oh my God, I started to, so she saw, I didn't even tag her in it because I know that Sandra sometimes gets nervous, right? So I posted the 1998, and that was the one where Lu Chen's music got blocked. So the CD, so then I had to like redo it, and it was maybe like 2 hours later. Sandra was like, how did I handle Michelle and Tara? I don't remember. And I was like, no, you were fine.
She was brilliant.
Brilliant. Like her best work is from the 98 CBC. People
the response to the Surya backflip was correct.
Yeah, and people have been giving her rave reviews for her commentary with Paul Martini.
She's incredible. Yeah.
Incredible. She explained the whole event. She's the only one that told us that Bobek had a hip thing going on. She explained who that man with Kristofics was in the Kiss and Cry. Like all the questions Sandra answered on CBC. She's doing her job.
Dumbing it down. And whether that's the network or the commentator themselves, like Sandra and that was it was a really good team.
So, but Sandra's commentary on Nicole Bobek. Jonathan.
Again, like you said, you say in those videos, where's the lie?
Where is the lie? Needed depends, okay?
Give me the line.
You can't go to the Olympics and rely
on charisma. Oh, I was going to try to say it with you. Or what?
Charisma. Like, and then I was unclear about one point that I wanted a clarification. When she goes, Nicole Bobek told us that she's worked really hard the past couple of weeks, and Paul Martini goes, and then Sandra said, that's not going to cut it. Did Sandra say that to her face? So Sandra says that her biggest pet peeve is people who don't work hard, especially that go to big events, because she always thinks about the alternate who's sitting at home who would have appreciated the spot more.
And you know, Tanya would have taken that task to heart.
So she didn't, she just said that that is why, because she also in 2006 is really hard on Sanju.
Yeah.
But again, where's the lie?
Where's the lie? Where is the lie?
And Paul Martini goes off on Bobek's coaching changes and talks about what it means. And he goes into the new brilliant duo. Can we hire them? Paul, I don't know how you look. I don't know if you're still hot, but if you could fit into those jeans and that shirt that you wore in, I don't know.
You never did it for me, even like at a time when maybe you could have. I was like,
I think it was Barb. She's like a little bit of a Megan Duhamel build. Like maybe you just, I don't know. She's a Spitfire too, though, that Barb Underhill. She could do the interviews. We could have Sandra and Paul and then have Barb in the Kiss and Cry. Did
we see Barb on Battle of the Blades?
I don't know. I think maybe.
I thought she was on Battle of the Blades, one of the ones we reviewed.
They go way back, those.
Okay.
All right. You know how sometimes, like with Liz Punslin, like, I don't want you getting up in my Jared. Stop it, okay?
Leave him alone. Amazing.
Dagmar Lurz. Okay, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say something. Because as an adult skater, I've had to fight this.
Okay.
She is what I would lovingly like to call adult skater arms.
Oh, I think I commented on this. There's a disconnect from the hands, like they're disconnected from the rest of her body. That's what I was noticing.
What I mean in the jumps is when you try to get up in the air and you don't know how to control your limbs and you don't have a defined air position and you're trying to do harder jumps and the arms just wind up going like up here. Sandra also has the adult skater arms. If you watch that video in like 1970, they didn't maybe.
It's a different time.
Listen, her coach was too busy entertaining the Nazis. She didn't have time to define an air position like Victor. Okay.
It's true.
Or Frank. Frank's position is here. Victor likes him like here. And then,
right.
Okay. Dagmar's
was just a prayer, hope and a prayer.
Maybe her coach was a Nazi, who knows? And I don't.
Eric Zeller, yeah, Eric Zeller, we know.
He looked very old. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know where his family was.
Well, you know where it was.
The German skate brand, whatever they're wearing, why does the heel? Is the heel higher and
it's so high. It must be so difficult, I would think.
And their boots actually look longer than their current boots. Like it goes higher up on the ankle and they skate without any ankle bend. So to skate really well into the ice, you need knee and ankle bend. And I think that's why they look so stiff.
Stiff, 100%. The equipment is completely wackadoodle here.
Right, and that's part of it. And then watch, there's gonna be like a German skate brand that's gonna be like, we like our boots. We've had many champions. What?
Great, in the 80s, yeah.
Very high on the ankle. They're not getting the same ride. And it's like constantly like heel leads. They can't point a toe. The whole thing is rough. So she's got that. She's got a lot of music changes and zero musicality. Okay.
Right.
Like
she's skating like a peasant.
She does a double axel, double loop. It was small, lots of arms going on here. I was a little confused. And
you felt that was a hope and a prayer, like you didn't know if it was going to happen.
Then we get to the flying sit. Her back position, quite offensive. I have
a good death drop into it. I'm just saying.
All right. Okay. What were you judging her figures? Anyway. The double axel was pretty good.
Big, nice height in it. Mm-hmm. And that camel leg, unforgivable.
The camel change camel, Jonathan. I counted 5 and 5.5.
Yeah. It was not good.
So it needed to be 6 and 6.
Yeah.
She definitely short revved the first one. Second, you know, so they're back, this is before the days of Shinamano. The young kids are going to watch this. So they didn't have the replay. So they're counting, and how one judge counts versus another may be open to interpretation. But
because even often you would get Dick like watching and not sure, pretty sure, but was like,
tell by his hesitation that he thought that she short revved it.
Right.
He definitely did. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we went back and the double flip arm, the arms were up here. Okay.
Yeah. The open arms, I was out of control. And the steps not at all with the music. And I said, at this point, the short program seems endless.
Yeah. I actually learned how to do a Lutz with the arm above because the arm already was so far up anyway. I mean, what was the point? Okay.
Your arm was so high, we basically called it alerts.
Alerts. Okay, it was alerts.
Okay.
So punny. Okay.
Hey-oh.
The straight line was something, and the combo spin.
Unmusical, that's the word you're looking for.
Yeah, the combo spin
was fine, I thought, at the end.
There was nothing. What did Scott Hamilton say about Maria Bucherskaya? Nothing truly special.
Correct.
But we do have to deduct because she has an omitted element, basically. The camel change camel does not count, okay? That has to deduct.
So you're full-blown discrediting the entire element from happening, not just
element, but I'm taking the 4/10, okay?
Okay. So now, for technical merit, we know US gave 5-1. Now, where was everyone else?
They went 5-1 to 5-6. It was a mix. They were like 5-3.
Yeah. I went 5-4.
How happy she seemed with her marks. I was like, honey.
There was no disaster, and that told me she felt like there was one coming. But I went 5-4, which to me was still me trying to send a sentence, or a statement rather, because also I'm tired of this because I feel like there is politicking here for her, and I don't understand why we need to reward this.
They were trying to get her on the podium.
We don't know what.
Carlo.
No.
Remember, he's very friendly. You know, his wife, who's Austrian aristocracy, I believe maybe, you know, they had the Germans in the back pocket. And I believe that maybe they were helping Dagmar. You know, I'd be very curious how this all went down. But
so I said 5-4, 5-4.
By the way, Carlo, Robin deserves that gold medal. I just understand that you had to make sure that the judges were in order because they're playing.
Again, like we said in our 98 dance video, like, I don't know why Didier felt like he had to protect the French from the Canadians, because when you just looked at the material, it would have taken care of itself, one would have assumed. But yet, here we are. Okay. 5-4, 5-4, I gave.
5-2, 5-5. I didn't want to get thrown off the panel.
Amazing.
When I saw the marks, I had a Sandra Bezic. She was happy.
That's my favorite, was the rediscovery of that line. Well, she's happy.
She's happy.
Okay. You bet she is. She's going to win the gold medal at that event. Okay, here she comes.
I had my own Dick Button freakout moment about his grammar. He used whom when Linda was taking the ice, just in casual conversation.
He's already setting the stage for something classier than the rest.
For whom will we say? I was like, Dick. Yes. When she gets on the ice.
It's a next level of class. The dress is the next level of money. It's got shimmer to it. It's got cut to it like nobody else's does.
Now she's Italian. You know, they're very...
But she's LA Italian. This is different than Jersey Italian.
Eyelashes real. They're
well,
very beautiful. I was like, are they real, Linda? Are you...
I don't know. Would she have competed with fake ones? That seems... What would Lisa Marie Allen have thought? She's got a bun.
Have you met Linda Fratianne? Would she compete with fake eyelashes? Jonathan.
She would do what she was told. Would Frank think the eyelashes could interfere? I don't know. But she's put in the time and effort into that packaging, and it shows.
Rouge that she was Olympic thin. They let us know that she was under 100 pounds.
Yeah. And it had a dress that really showcased that. She's looking glamorous, and when everyone else has looked fine, athletic.
But why was Frank looking depressed with this beard? Didn't he know he was going to the Olympics and needed to look?
Well, Dick was doing the same. Maybe this was some sort of machismo thing they were trying to get.
I wanted Frank to look like his days when he was in the beach movies, you know.
That was a different era.
He's palling around with Tab
They're
Hunt.
trying to butch it up, he said, also having a beard. But I think that that was part of this.
Her rouge in that opening, I mean, all the points.
And taking her sweet ass time with music that allows her to do so compared to Lisa Marie.
This woman is a glamazon, okay?
Yeah. And on every note of the damn music. When it goes da-da-da, she's right with it and knows that's why she's doing the movement. It's because it's supposed to line up with that moment in the music.
I think that, so love Linda, and she's very proper and charismatic, and she's, it's so interesting. When you meet Linda Fratianne in person, she is so engaging and fabulous and wonderful. And she's a very good performer. She doesn't have that Dorothy thing on the ice, whatever that is, and I don't think you can define it.
She's showing you everything you want to see, but it doesn't come maybe from this like raw emotional place. It comes from a well-oiled, pristine, gorgeous, not a hair out of place kind of thing, which is lovely, but it's not
very
raw.
Frank.
Yeah.
Very Frank. Maybe it doesn't have that.
It's Michelle, better or worse, in Nagano. It's all lovely. But I don't know that it...
I gave Michelle the gold in 98.
I know.
Paul Martini, okay?
Just saying.
Listen, those jeans, I'm telling you. Anyway.
But this is when you're talking about Joe Inman O phase, I think that this is the definition of on the music.
Okay, on the music. Everywhere, Joe. Joe was sitting at home orgasming all over the place with those.
Every time she mimicked the music. This is literally Annett's phrasing it every time.
He and Lori were talking about it when they were writing those PCS. Okay, she had that Frank Carroll flow, those skating skills that Frank teaches. Remember, he taught her from the beginning.
And she gets some big speed going into that triple sow double loop.
Big speed. It was neat and clean.
This is an exciting combo in the short program at this time period.
That has like a real fabulous air position.
Well, she does take off a little bit with her arms, probably more than she wanted to for this one, but it still happened and it was lovely.
Listen, Linda Saukow.
Remember, Dorothy won without a triple, and now we see these girls now putting it in combination in a short program risky situation. This is high stakes at the time. This is really exciting.
It's Frank training at the Olympics. It was smooth.
She does have a low death drop. It's the only thing she left me wanting more from, really.
But the flying sit though,
But the good back makes up for it.
Back.
Yeah.
Like, she's giving us good back. Yeah, I mean, Linda, your back was wonderful.
And you know what? For being sort of like maybe a slower, maybe more refined skater, then she turns around and gives us a very athletic, huge double axel, almost too big.
Sick at the Nationals. Remember, and she didn't skate that well.
Because she fell on that axle there. Yeah.
She nailed it here.
Yeah.
That Linda Fratianne. That's why we love her, you know?
Yeah. And at this point, after the double axel, and we talk about this when we go back and watch these things, like when we saw Karen and Jill in 87, we knew that this looks like the future. And Midori, obviously, for her talent athletically, but like we knew that they were about to surpass this aesthetic style that Katarina and Debbie were still giving us. This is when I see Linda skating as a new era of skating. She's really pushed it forward. Now I see a skating future in the style
she's more sophisticated than any of these other ladies.
Yes, no question.
The straight line step sequence was good. She's so smooth with everything. The camel change camel was right on the money. The double flip was good. It was just, it was a perfect Frank student. You know, it was just.
And it's a hard thing to try to take something as epic as Firebird and condense it with this many music cuts into such a short period of time.
And with so many sequins on the costume, so many rhinestones, you know.
But yet somehow just enough, right?
Yes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Double flip was great. Fast spins, good position. The musical build at the end, it totally.
So do you know who the opposite of a Joe Iman orgasm would be? Either Sarah Hughes or Irina Slutskaya in their Don Quixotes in 2001 Worlds, which you can also watch. They are missing.
Or Irina in a Tosca, and yet.
Whenever Irina is just throwing the arm up and not
arbitrary.
And Sarah's missing the arm on the Don Quixote, but being very pleasant, and it was
hitting the position she was told instead of what Linda's doing here, which is hearing the music and responding to it with the music inspires the gesture or the move. But Linda does it right.
I gave her 5.858.
I give her a 5.859 because I want to send a message that I think this is classy skating that listens to the music and there's a reason it's playing and I'm a big fan. Only one judge gave her a 5.9 here.
The Italian judge.
He
appreciated her eyelashes and her
Carlo Fassi. Yeah.
The Italian judge, you know, Carlo went against his own Italian people.
Just saying. And there was already an American skating.
Remember, there was no plastic on the furniture in Linda's house, okay?
It's correct.
We just had to know. We had to know.
Yeah. What kind of Italian were you of that era? Set the scene.
Okay.
And for this to now be followed by I wrote Agnes, how hilarious. Anett Pötzsch, like insane.
First of all, the variations of the spelling of her name. Lord help.
Okay, but this is why. So when you have the umlaut, right, the double O in German, when you used to not have that type option, you would often just add an E to it. So an umlauted O in English would just become OE.
Well,
so when you see the POE, it just really means it was supposed to have been an umlauted O.
And, you know, because I don't really care for her skating, I've never...
Bingo. Bingo. And we say Pötzsch like butch, but it's really more like pitch, like bitch. Yeah, okay.
You know, she's not been a great figure skater. Dick's monologue at the beginning of this.
Dave, the man has a stroke trying to figure out what combo she just did. He's just literally reciting revolutions and jump names.
You are jumping ahead.
Okay.
She's not a great figure skater. You know, she's really got her act together. She has lost weight, and she's not. He says, "Wait, she does not have extra something." And I was like,
"This is the era." And remember, this is what they feel can be said.
Jonathan, where was the lie? Okay, like
where was the line?
Mm-hmm. Like.
And it's so interesting in retrospect, like when we watched the Jutta Miller documentary, when Kati was like, Oh, Annett.
Oh, when he was talking about Tuktamisheva, should have said the judges will give her better marks if she puts it. Also, Doug was talking, I thought Doug was talking about the judges when he said that.
He was.
Which, like, he's talking about, like, Chuck Foster and these people on the judging panel. And it's like...
He knows how they judge it. And he knows that you can convince a judge that by merely having lost weight, a judge will be duped into thinking you are more elegant than you are. His was a commentary on how things are judged, not fat shaming someone, not saying, it was really, and it's hard to take it out of context. And I'm not excusing that this ideology exists, but it does exist. He was stating an unfortunate, awkward, terrible thing that is fact in the judging. And we even got him to clarify it, but he lost.
No, we tried to get him to clarify.
We really tried to walk it back.
We tried to get him to walk it back, yes.
And this is national television. And we're talking like, good for Annett. She lost some weight, so she seems a little more artistic, I guess. Was basically the subtext.
She's got her act together.
Yeah.
Now, we start with the mambo from West Side Story, the dun 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 dun.
Well, communists love a good West Side Story program in the 80s.
It does, like.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we see more communist countries coming out with West Side Story numbers in the next decade than you can even count.
So Utah has a Princess Leia like hairdo going on here? Is that how you would describe it?
Well, or it's almost like, those Scandinavian like Christmas wreath things with the candles. Like, it's impressive.
What book about Utah talked about her petting her skaters in the Kiss and Cry to show off all of her new jewels? I can't stop watching it. Okay.
Yeah. She knew what she was doing.
Remember, her daughter wasn't allowed to eat cake. Jan got all the cake he wanted.
And and she I'm just going to stop right there. I liked Gabby's skating, but yes, it was not necessarily refined or
she was a bombastic girl. She was a real Merman type. She's beautiful.
She was an Ethel Merman type. That's a great example. You know what? Germany was creating all Broadway belters.
They were. Okay.
Yeah, and we've got Linda, who's like.
What was she in the stage crew? I bet she would line up the scenery. Anett Pötzsch. I think that she was in the
she's the stage manager. Yeah.
Yes, that's how she skates. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's doing in this sport, but she's not a freestyler or an extrovert. I mean, even in the documentary about Utah, she seems like a very nice.
She doesn't want the attention.
German or math teacher. Like she just, I don't know what she's doing in this sport.
Where Kati has this like huge personality that is a magnetic on, like the camera is always following her. Like your eye is always drawn to her. She's always saying the wonderful thing. And Annett was like, yeah, I wanted an Olympic gold too. It was fun. Thanks, Yuta.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Yuta was like, she's like, I think of you often. And she's like, oh, do you?
And Katarina's like making jokes and like the life of the...
Gabby, wait, did Yuta steal Annett from her daughter and then Gabby kind of...
That was the thing. Annett was brought up under Gabby.
Now, was that the Federation's decision or was that Utah who stole her?
I think there's a really heartbreaking story to Gabby, and we have heard part of it, but I don't think we have heard all of it.
No, and she hated all of Gabby's many husbands, but loved the granddaughter. The grandkids, I think they're very close with Utah, and loved the husband. Remember? Mm-hmm. The first husband or the second husband? Was Utah married twice?
Utah? Well, Gabby was married twice.
But was Utah married twice?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought there was something in there about the granddad that maybe it wasn't. I forget. We have to rewatch. What a heartwarming film about the Germans. Gabby couldn't perform, but she had all those.
Again, I needed more film coverage from Yuta Miller competing in same-sex pairs because they didn't have enough men during the war.
I bet she was fabulous. Okay.
I know she.
How about that number she does with like the top hat and the bow tie? I mean, with the bent legs, like all these women. I mean,
She taught what she knew. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Frau, okay?
She is fast, Agnes.
Double loop, double toe.
And not a good one.
Okay, so the base value of that combination far lower than a double axel. Double loop.
It's the easiest we see.
And it was supposed to be, I think, a double loop triple toe. I imagine. So that's an opened combo. And Dick, I feel like he didn't freak out entirely. First of all, I don't think he knew what she did. Remember, this is after the Central Park bashing in the Ramble. This is...
He literally just starts saying double, triple, double, loop, toe loop, loop, double, triple. And then I was like, Dick, just...
And I think he knew that they were like gonna cheat for her. So I don't think that they were at this point in time where we are gonna like... And you can tell when the judges judge this that they kind of feel like they have to give like respectable marks, even though it's a disaster.
Isn't it funny? I almost found myself doing the same. And this is one of those examples, we talked about it when we did dance in '98. Sometimes I even find myself putting people in classifications that I'm like, but if I was being totally honest, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her double axel, she kicks wide with the right leg.
So scary.
So off axis.
So
and she
scary.
Almost falls the wrong way and has one of those really bad falls. Huge error. So the first two elements in her are really nightmarish in this program. So she's too, and an iffy flying sit spin with a very ugly back position, I thought.
Yeah.
Not, she has a very fast straight line step sequence, I thought. But she's horrific posture. I mean, she is no Oksana Bayul, okay? She is...
Correct. That's correct.
Camel, like, she's got no pizzazz. Like, this is the
camels is very unattractive. And the hands on the hip, I just wrote ew. Like, it's just, it's not working. And the final spin was okay. And I have to say, when she's doing, it's interesting.
Did you notice the traveling in the combo spin?
Well, for her, I'll take traveling. By the positions compared to everything else she did, that was a big win for her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have to say, the steps work with the music. She was selling it. I just didn't like what she was selling.
So I make a statement with hers, and yet I keep myself on the panel because we're playing.
Yeah, I struggled with this. I struggled and probably overscored it. But tell me.
5.056.
Good for you. I didn't have the guts. I went 5.3, 5.5.
Okay.
But so it's interesting because I also give a 5.3 to Sandy, which now I feel a little unfair, but Sandy's positions were bothering me so much. But now in retrospect, I'm like...
You didn't know what was to come. You hadn't been watching the practices. That's why we watched.
Exactly. I showed up late, jet lag, Tanya Harding.
Well, so far, I have the running order. Ms. Linda, Ms. Denise, Ms. Lisa Marie Allen, Ms. Annie Lenz, Ms. Dagmar Lurz, Ms. Anett Pötzsch, 6th so far in the short program. Now, if you remember, Annett finishes far higher, and had Annett not finished so high in the short program, Linda would be the Olympic champion.
She didn't deserve to be high. Right now, I still have Sandy on the bottom, but I have...
It was a horrific short program. I thought it was really, really bad.
Yeah.
Really, really bad.
And she knew it. Her face is showing that she thinks she lost it.
Skated this short program, they would have nailed her ass.
Yeah.
Just so you know, this is the way it worked, okay? Now, Miss Emi Watanabe.
Here comes my real heartbreak of this Olympics.
Fluff piece?
No, I mean, obviously, Ty was here. But this is the heartbreak of the night for me.
Ms. Emi Watanabe. Okay. So in that Gymnastics Greatest Stars video, they do this whole thing on all the Japanese men for years, and Shun Fujimoto and Kathy Johnson is commentating this part. Queen Kathy, remember I interviewed her recently for like 3 hours. I once interviewed her for 4.5 hours. I had to go to the bathroom several times on the phone and mute it, and like Kathy just kept talking and like
been there. Yeah, okay.
Happened. And like Kathy, like, you know, Kathy, she cries often. This time I knew to expect that Kathy was going to cry. The first time Kathy was crying all through her Olympic bronze medal, and the fact that Lynn, like, yeah, she, fabulous, national treasure. Okay.
a jewel, okay.
But she'll be like, so Shun Fujimoto lands his high bar where he has the problem with his leg, and she goes, Shun Fujimoto, who today still walks with a limp. And you're like...
Because of Montreal, right? It was the Montreal men's final?
But I saw him...
Or team.
He was running here with Emi Watanabe, and I didn't see him limping. I wanted to see a limp from that high bar dismount. I'm sorry, okay?
I just saw Emi running. I thought he was like, here, here, here.
But I love the fact that we're talking. Listen, this is Juneteenth. Jonathan was like, can we post a video on Juneteenth? I'm like, Juneteenth, we're skating, where we have Emi, Kathy.
No women of color in this event.
Well, only Emi. She's, well, not, that's some color. Not,
yeah, exactly. Oh my God, I'm like not touching this with a 6-foot pole, okay?
But
10-foot pole.
Of course, they're talking about a Japanese Asian skater, so they're talking about concentration.
It becomes a very, yeah, you suddenly realize it becomes like a caricature-y, it's a small world after all take on an athlete from Japan, as if we had never seen athletes from the East ever before.
Now, her sister also was obviously a skater because her sister went on to be the technical, like one of the jump coaches with Carlo. So her sister is one of the coaches of the 87 Worlds with everyone.
And we already know that we've got a junior Midori Ito wowing everybody back home in Japan at this very moment.
Yeah, but she did not have Emi Watanabe's skating skills, which were fabulous. Okay.
I mean, this is a moment I was like, even the 70s, Jonathan, you were a sucker for any Japanese skater. What can I say?
Maybe you liked that concentration in those fluff pieces a little bit. No!
It was very mindful, yes. Great opening spin.
She's fourth in the figures. So Carlo has positioned her.
She is set up. Well, did she win bronze?
Is she in a battle royale with Dagmar Lurz? Would Carlo get someone from both ends? Did he?
I mean, to me, like this, if you were going in, I feel like, it's going to be probably a battle for gold between Annett and Linda. But this bronze is really wide open between Denise, Emi, and Dagmar.
Yeah. So, and Emi Watanabe's had an interesting life too. And I think she worked as a TV presenter in Japan. There's an interesting story there. Okay, so camel change camel was so good. It was the best camel change camel of the event.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Now her double axel, double loop, it's big and then it goes crazy. It is, okay, now this is a Christy Yamaguchi situation.
It's not a fall.
The butt did not touch, so Christy will tell us it was not a fall. It was not a fall.
And Christy's was more of a fall than this was.
They were both very...
It didn't seem as low to the ice, an error, as Christy's was.
Now, technically, Sasha Cohen only fell once in her 2006, but I thought she fell twice. So this is one of those, like, maybe the butt didn't touch, but that was a train wreck.
She lands in that weird Firebird moment of Gracie Gold. Remember when she does the leg squat kind of moment? It's sort of a weird aesthetic thing that really disrupts the flow for Emi, who has such good flow. I know. And then turns around and gives us the exact double axel we were hoping to see earlier. Killer double axel when she does it.
She's musicals. She's virtual. Oh my God.
Although I got to tell you, her death drop was so terrible, that entrance, it looked like she damn near lost her edge and slipped. But the footwork is fabulous.
Footwork is fabulous. And the double flip is good. I did think that the mistake kind of hindered the presentation a little bit.
But I thought she still was giving, in moments she could have given up more. So I thought, the wind went out of the sails for sure, but she was still trying.
I would have considered like a 5.7 for presentation, 5.6, 5.7, if not for the error. So I went 5.2, 5.5.
You know me, I like to help those that I love. So I'm doing, well, I do more, I guess, 5.3, 5.6. So 5
for a 10th above Annett.
Yeah, me too. I have her above Annett and Dagmar.
Okay, so I had her behind Dagmar, but right? Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, number 1, I have Linda.
Wait. Now I'm making sure. Oh wait. Oh, I tied them. I didn't even realize I tied them.
So who got higher technical?
I don't want to be thrown out of the event, so I'm going to put Dagmar ahead. I don't want to be thrown out of the event, okay?
You know, I'm risking it. I dare you.
I just say, okay?
Yeah, okay. So we both have...
Because I feel they might throw me out of the event because I just put Anett Pötzsch 7, okay? And you know, that like...
Yeah, I did put...
I have kind of controlled by like Europe. Let's not be...
Yeah. I have Agnes... I keep calling her Agnes. I have Anett 7. No, I have her 6th. Okay, so we both have Linda first, sounds like. We both have Denise second.
Yeah.
Which is in line with how the short really went. Lisa Marie, we had in third and she was in third. So now my 4, 5, 6, 7 goes Dagmar.
Okay. I have Sandy Lenz.
No. Oh my God, say it ain't so. So this is, riddle me that, I think I have Emi in 4th.
John.
Because of the 5, 6. Now riddle me this. So I have 5, 3, 5, 6. So I technically have her at a 10.9. And I have Dagmar at 5, 4, 5, 4.
10.8.
I have Annett at 5, 3, 5, 5. I have Sandy at 5, 3, 5, 4. So I think I go Emi, Dagmar, Annett, Sandy.
How was Sandy Lenz worse than Anett Pötzsch? Jonathan.
Yeah, I know.
How do you sleep at night?
I know. It was pretty soundly because those arm positions in the air, forget it. And I was rooting for Elaine. Should have sent Elaine.
But that merry choreography, you don't even know what's coming in the long program because you missed the practices, Nicole.
Exactly. Yeah, I was relying on charisma as a judge.
And rely on
charisma.
Okay?
Well, I looked at my marks and you know what? I'm happy.
You're happy. Explain us about those decimal points that were going on. Like what?
So strange.
And so,
because this is worth 20%, right? This short program was worth 20%.
The whole ordinals for the. Doug Hahn needs to explain the ordinals, how they worked back in 1980.
Yeah, because what we do when we do the figure events is we will take, unfortunately, the results as they were for the figures. So
we really should have probably like judged Katarina's accurately, but we can't see everyone's, you know. So
and clearly neither could the judges, right? We know that politicking was going to happen anyway. So yeah.
Although I will just say, Anett Pötzsch, eye on you. That was not the most
too thin eyebrows on you. Because we see what's happening. We see what's happening here.
Are you eyebrow shaming her?
Yes, I think that was a miscalculation there.
Okay, all right. Well, everyone, we hope that you have enjoyed our celebration.
Yeah, so now we want to see your marks and rankings.
We want to see your marks and rankings. Please put them below. Debate with us, argue with us. Tell Jonathan how wrong he is and how fabulous Sandy Lenz was.
How Emi, you're just going to try to push her through and hope she rebounds in the long. There's still hope.
Emi Watanabe, was she giving you all the feels? Did you love that fluff piece? Hold an edge and look sexy, everyone. Good night.